So the other day I went to Disney World. Now, I gotta admit, I've never been to Disney World, but pretty much everyone and their mother has, so I figured I would go down to Orlando, Florida and hit up Disney World before I died, so I did just that. I mean, the weather up here is pretty shitty, and a nice trip to Orlando, Florida would hit the spot right now. So I get to Disney World, and it's a interesting place to say the least. A lot of interesting things happen. I want to go over them with you guys here. Now, I went to the Magic Kingdom right off the bat, and I gotta say, this place probably has one of the most misleading titles of anything ever. I mean, Magic Kingdom? There wasn't a single magician in the entire place. Like, I was expecting, like, magic shows and, like, being able to, go into a gift shop and buy a bunch of, like, of magic instruction books. Like, maybe I wanted to learn some new card tricks or something. Like, if I went into, like, a magic shop down there to buy a card trick book, it would probably be a book about how to cook a potato. But it would say on the front cover, World's Greatest Magic Card Tricks. So, I mean, it was such a misleading name. I couldn't get over that. But besides that, everything else was pretty much just okay. I mean, right when you get in the park, they have the people dressed up like the Disney characters, like, the big mouse person and his ridiculously similar sized mouse wife. I guess they're radioactive or some shit like that, because I've never seen a mouse this big in my life. And there's some talking dog with them, and I could go on and on, but you guys are gonna think I'm making this shit up, but I swear this is what's down there. Anyways, the big talking mouse guy comes up to me and he talks in some like high-pitched voice, and he goes, "Hey, do you want to have your picture taken with me?" And I was like, no, not really. You're a ridiculously oversized radioactive mouse. And on top of that, you're clearly wearing a costume because your mouth wasn't even moving when you were talking to me. And on top of that, it's like some weird freaky face these costumes have. It's like a permanent smile on his face, and he's asking me to take his picture. Like, what is that about? I mean, the face is so creepy. It looks like, the best way to describe it is, it looks like he died while having an orgasm, and the face just stuck. It just stuck in like that. Anyways, he wanted to have his picture taken with me, and I was like, that's kind of creepy. Like, I don't go up to people in public and ask them if they want their picture taken with me, and I looked a hell of a lot better than that ridiculous radioactive oversized mouse did. So I politely declined. I was like, no, that's all right. I want to, go on the rides and stuff here. And he was like, oh, you really should get a picture taken with me. I'm pretty much the biggest thing in this place. And I was like, the biggest thing in this place? What, you mean like you're popular and shit? He goes, that's right. They built this whole place because of me. And I was like, wow. I highly doubt that. But anyways, I'm gonna go on the rides now. And he, all of a sudden, he gets like an attitude with me. He goes, what do you mean you don't want to have your picture taken with me? Don't you know who I am? And I was like, no, I really don't know who you are. I mean, you're some big mouse that's talking to me inside of a costume. You're just some guy in there. And he goes, listen, you little shithead, this place wouldn't exist without me. So you're going to take your goddamn picture with me because everyone who walks through that door gets their picture taken with me. I go, first of all, why are you talking in that ridiculous high-pitched voice that sounds so stupid? And I just walk away. I'm just like, you know what? I can't stand this. I came here to go on some rides and you're holding me up, so I walk away. So what does this stupid radioactive mouse do? He pushes me from behind. I go, whoa. The hell did you do that for? He goes, you little asshole, I'm the godfather of this place. You better learn to respect me. I was like, the godfather of this place? What kind of lame shit is that? First of all, The Godfather's a dumb movie, and you're referring to yourself as the godfather of this place? I was like, and on top of that, who the hell is that supposed to be? And the radioactive mouse guy turns around to try and look to what I was pointing to, but there wasn't anything over there. And when he turned, I went, boom! I kicked him right in his little mouse balls. He drops to the ground right away, and he's writhing in pain. And, like, all these kids are gathered around, and they're, like, crying and shit. And I'm like, oh, calm down, kids. What are you crying about? It's just some guy in a mouse costume. It's not even like a real cartoon or anything like that. There's a person in there. The kids start crying even more, like I ruined their hopes and dreams and some shit. I'm like, oh, calm down, kids. Next thing you know, you're gonna be upset because you found out Santa Claus isn't real. Kids freak out even more. So I'm like, all right, to hell with this. I've wasted too much time on all this shit. I'm going into this park and I'm getting on some of these rides. So I go up to this one ride. I heard it was like a roller coaster or something. It's called like Orgasm Mountain or something like that. No, Space Mountain. I'm sorry. Space Mountain. That's what it's called. And the line for it was like 2 hours long. And I'm just like, holy shit. Everyone's making a big deal about this park and you have to wait 2 hours in line just to get on a damn ride. So I'm just like, well, whatever. I got to get on something. I mean, I paid to get in. I got to, ride a ride or two. So I get in line for this Orgasm Mountain. I'm sorry, Space Mountain. And I get on there, I ride the ride. It's actually pretty cool, I gotta admit. It's not the most thrilling roller coaster, but it's got like all sorts of like, little techno lights and shit, and I happened to do some LSD that day, so it really, really looked phenomenal. I gotta give credit to Disney. They really pulled out a phenomenal job with this. So I get back on the ride again because I don't feel like walking anywhere else in the park, so I'm getting on this ride. And the one thing I noticed this time is that there's a second line for this ride, and it's for people that are like handicapped. Like you see people like pushing up like their children in wheelchairs, or some guy crutching himself in, and they get to go up right to the front of the line. Like they barely have anyone waiting. Like they just go right to the ride and get on. They don't have to wait 2 hours. And I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm like, does it say that somewhere in the United States of America Constitution? Because I don't think it does. I mean, I have the same rights as anyone else. I mean, does it say handicapped people is there an amendment saying that handicapped people are allowed to get on roller coasters and top thrill attractions before just, a person like myself? I don't remember seeing that anywhere. So I had an idea. The next time I got on Space Mountain, I noticed that when I got off, there was a wheelchair sitting there. And it was from someone who was on the ride, because basically, you get wheeled up to the ride, the assistants, help you off, and they put you on the ride, get you all situated, and you ride the ride. So this person was still on the ride, and I was like, you know what? I got a great idea. I'm just going to take this wheelchair and just play myself off as a handicapped person the rest of the day. So I got in the wheelchair. It was a bit of a tight fit, and I mean, it was kind of awkward because the wheelchair was pink and it had like Justin Bieber stickers all over it, but I was like, I don't care. I just wanted, it had 2 wheels and it moved. That was pretty much the only requirements I required for the damn thing. So I just started, wheeling myself around, and I gotta say right away, that shit is pretty sweet. I mean, going around a wheelchair is awesome because I just wheeled myself right around to the front of Space Mountain again, and just got up to the part where, you get in line for the handicapped people, wheeled myself right in there, and then you get up to the attendants and they're like, all right, sir, do you want us to help you into the ride? And I get up, I go, no, I'm fine. I just get right up out of the wheelchair and I walk into the ride, sit down, and I ride Space Mountain. And I mean, I got on it like 10 times in an hour. And it was awesome. And on top of that, like when I was just wheeling around in the park, it was fantastic. Because like I didn't have to use my legs the entire day. I wasn't, getting drained of energy. I just, pushed myself around the park. And, it just glides along. It's awesome. I don't know why more people don't just wheel around in wheelchairs for the hell of it. I mean, sure, people look at you and like they don't want to come 50 feet near you because they think you have some sort of disease that you're just going to transmit to them if you come within a certain proximity. But aside from that, being in a wheelchair is freaking sweet. I gotta say, I had fun with that wheelchair the rest of the day, because I went back to the front area where those, radioactive people and the talking dog and all that other shit were taking the pictures with, the families and whatnot. And I noticed that the place where they were taking the pictures, it was kind of like on an incline in the pavement. Like, you kind of had to, like, you know, walk up to get away from them. But anyways, I was like, you know what, I have an idea. I was gonna have a little fun here, and I noticed that it kind of points down right to the backs of, you know, the radioactive people taking the pictures. And I was like, I bet I could just kind of like maybe like coast down and just kind of accidentally crash into them. And I was like, damn it, Archfiend, that's a great idea. So I did just that. What I would do is I would get to the top of the incline there, and I would act like I had lost control of the wheelchair. I'd be like, oh my god, I can't control this wheelchair, it's out of control, I'm gonna crash. And like, people would like freak out and start like running after me, like, oh my god, stop him, he's gonna crash into the radioactive mouse and the talking dog. And then all of a sudden, boom, I would crash right into them from behind. They would, like, half the times they would fall to the ground, and like there's this big duck guy I hit one time, his big duck head flew off, and like the kids were screaming going, oh my god, it's some creepy guy in there, it looks like he's from that Predator show on MSNBC, which is probably true. But anyways, I had some fun with that because I kept just like, you know, circling back around, and I would just like start careening down again going, oh my god, I can't control the wheelchair, and then everyone would try to chase after me again, stop it, and then I'd hit those stupid little radioactive people from behind again. Now, the final time I did it was a unique circumstance because the talking dog thing, and that's weird. There was like, one of the dogs was a talking dog and the other wasn't. I don't know. The one like wore a hat and the other one was like, I don't know. Anyways, it was kind of ridiculous. One of the dogs talked, the other didn't. I know it doesn't make sense. But the non-talking dog was like holding like this like 12-year-old girl. Like, he was like holding him up to pose for the picture. And he has her held up there, and the mother's getting ready to take the picture, and I was like, oh, this is going to be so sweet. I'm just going to, like, you know, careen down the wheelchair, hit them from behind, take them both out. It's going to be so hilarious. So I did just that. I get up at the top of the hill, I go, oh no, I'm losing control of the wheelchair, and then, you know, the same routine, everyone tries to run after me, and boom, I hit the non-talking radioactive dog from behind, and the little 12-year-old girl goes flying to the ground, and she's crying, and I'm just like, ah, ha, ha, I got you both. And the little 12-year-old girl just looks up at me, and I'm just like, what do you want, little girl? Just stop crying, get up and walk away, everything's fine. And she just says, I can't walk. And then she goes, hey, that's my wheelchair. And I look back at the girl and I go, hey, aren't you one of the girls from that Girl Scout troop that sold me the Thin Mints in front of the supermarket 2 weeks ago? True story.